Hi, my name is Monte Tilgner with the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This will be a series of 11 plays from our semifinal games this past weekend to help our officials as they prepare for the championship games this coming weekend. Congratulations to all of you that worked semifinals and the championship games, and thanks to all of you Iowa officials who worked throughout the season. A couple plays here on kickoffs, just as reminders of the coverage now that we have 7 officials. And on this first play, this was a hold, a takedown hold by the return team. It doesn't show up here, but it was a takedown hold on the return by the return team. It's one that we missed. And just looking at the location of this is one that should be picked up by our umpire, possibly our field judge. Remember, our field judge is going to be taking plays kind of from the hash and out, or action from the hash and out. There's nothing there, so you might move more to the inside. Umpire is generally taken from the about the hash to the middle of the field, and then our other officials, our back judge and our side judge, are picking up those ones on the other side in the same kind of lanes. So we do miss this one, but we do get a good pickup on a hold by our short wing on this block right here. So a good get by our short wing here. You can see a good restriction and a takedown on that. We know that we're going to have to move our flag for that penalty enforcement since that run ended up beyond where the foul took place. Again, kickoff coverage, showing some action here. This is another hold that could be seen again, definitely by our umpire and possibly by our field judge. There's no action down here right now by our field judge for him to look at. So, if you see this right here, you might still be on that. We want to stay off this double team, and we'd be looking at this block right here. So those would be the official who would be primary and secondary on that. And you can see he does end up, he does restrict him. And this restriction that occurs earlier, when he spins him all the way around like that, restricting him, that's when we would want to call. But then he continues, and then he throws him down here at the end. So we definitely have a flag there for a takedown hold. And again, we need to look at where this run ends up, and it would be one that we would need to move our flag and enforce from the spot of the foul. We saw a lot of onside kicks in the 8 games I was down there for. Many more than we would normally during a game. Most games. So just we need to be prepared. We need to think about all those things. First of all, we always got to be thinking about a surprise onside kick. And what we need to be thinking about there, first of all, is that pop up. So, do we get a pop up? We do get a pop up here. We got to judge how high it goes. If it goes above his head, the kicker's head, we know that we shut that down immediately. In this case, it did not, or was not deemed to go above his head. So we did not have a foul there. We continue, and you can see we've got a block here, definitely initiated by Team K, and the ball is here at 9 yards. So remember, it doesn't matter if that block occurs behind, or I should say in the neutral zone or beyond. So it could occur at the 48 if it's not a block that it's one, if team R comes up to block, and engage, then that's off. But in this case, if they're staying back, it's definitely not going to be the case. So we have a block here that would be a foul. We continue, and this ball never goes 10 yards. And then it is recovered, in this case, by the I think it was actually recovered by the kicking team. Okay, so but since the ball did not go 10 yards, and we now have an illegal block, which is a foul, but we also have first touching, which is a violation. And if Team K recovers this ball at the spot where they touched it, then the dead ball spot is the same as the illegal touching spot. Now we know we cannot enforce the illegal block from the illegal touching spot, but we can enforce it from the dead ball spot. And in this case, they would be one and the same. So we could enforce this by this illegal block by Team K. We could enforce this from the dead ball spot. Now, let's say that this ball was legally recovered by Team K at the 52-yard line. So 2 yards past, then they would be in legal possession. And then the only place we could enforce that illegal block that occurred would be from the previous spot, and we'd have to re-kick. So a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to talk about, pregame those things so we know what to do in those situations. If we know we have an onside kick coming and we have 6 in the box, remember kind of our general guideline is if the ball is going away from you, let's go with first with towards you. TT, if the ball is going towards you, so these officials would be primary on first touching by Team K. If the ball is going away from you, so these officials would be looking more for early blocks. So towards you is touching, away from you is blocks, and that's primary. It doesn't mean that you can't help out on the other things, but that's kind of the primary responsibilities. All right, just a reminder, turn the players as they go out of bounds, and deep wings. As soon as you know that that player is definitely going to be going out of bounds, you can get on your horse and get in there to help escort those players out to make sure we don't have any continuing action. On this play, we don't see the second player come in. So this player just rides him out of bounds. We do have a fumble here, but number 84 does just ride him out of bounds. This is the player that comes in late and delivers a blow to this player when he's out of bounds and on the ground. And we need a deep wing continue with that action, or I'm sorry, short wing continue with that action. So we see that right there. All right, that's one we want to get a flag down. Deep wing, if as soon as you can tell for sure he's going out of bounds, which wouldn't be told about right now, probably. We know he's going to get forced out by one of these 3 guys. So we can now start coming up the sideline, and hopefully we can get a look and maybe get on that as well, or get that pickup if it's not picked up by our short wing. So on this play, this interesting play, we've got a roughing the kicker situation, and as I stated here, the coach claimed the ball was tipped. So if that would be the case, if that was tipped by the player who contacted the kicker or holder, then we would not have a roughing the kicker. If someone else tips it, but not the player who runs into or roughs, then we still have a foul. Now, here's my point. If we get a question from a coach in a situation like this, get everyone involved to discuss it, and then you can ask, hey, I did not see a tip. Did you see a tip? Umpire, headline judge, line judge, bring them all in. Did any of you see a tip? And maybe somebody did. There's a good chance that somebody else might have got that tip if it did occur. If not, we can then go to the coach and say, hey, I got all 4 guys involved. We discussed it. No one saw a tip, so we got to go with what we saw. But if we get this conversation between multiple officials and then we go tell the coach, we can tell him we got input from everybody, and it shows him that we're listening, and it shows him that we're, trying to make sure that we get it right to the best of our ability. Correct call there for a flag. And if we got a tip by that particular player, number 5, then we would pick up that flag for roughing. But if somebody else besides number 5 was the one who tipped it, then we would still have roughing. Just a reminder, watch the players after we signal touchdown. This player after the touchdown spikes the ball. Now, it might not have gone high enough for a flag, but the point is we did not turn to see the spike to make a judgment on that. And maybe another official did, but whoever the calling official is or the covering official is, you should always turn with those players. We do not need to signal to the middle of the field. Okay. So just remember right now, turn with him. As you can see, he's going to continue there, spike the ball. Ball goes up in the air, and we're signaling, facing this way. We should be facing this player and these players as we signal our touchdown. All right. So we need to see if we have any unsporting act that would occur. Intentional grounding. Remember, referees, you need to stay with the passer. So that's why it's a crew call. Others need to supply the information if that receiver was in the area or if the ball reached the line of scrimmage or not. So reminders, if the passer gets out of the free blocking zone and the ball crosses the line of scrimmage, then or extended line of scrimmage, then we do not have a flag for intentional grounding. If he does not get out of the free blocking zone, then he needs to get that ball into an area where we have an eligible receiver. And remember, that's 5 yards if that receiver's coming back, or I'm sorry, 7 yards if they're coming back for it, 5 yards if they are not. Now, this one, we need to piece this together. We could get help from our umpire, but probably by our short wing, either here or here, looking in, because we do have number 0 right here. And you can see this ball flies right past number 0. Now, I guarantee it does pass him at a very high rate of speed, and he's not going to really have the opportunity to catch it. But point is, he is in the vicinity. So this would be one that we would want to not call intentional grounding. We also have number 44, who was our tight end, who is, right there as well. So again, piece this together, and then make an announcement, which I believe was made on this play. There's no foul for intentional grounding. Number 0 was in the area. So that's how we want to handle those. Just some reminders. RPOs, often we will have OPI hanging or IDP hanging. So offensive pass interference, ineligible player downfield, often will be hanging on those RPOs. So if we look at this one he does not pass the ball, but we had several in this game and others where they made very, very late passes. Okay, we need to recognize before that ever get to that point what we have for a hanging foul. So if we take a look here, we are 4 yards downfield, and we definitely have blocking initiated by this receiver. So right now, we've got OPI hanging, which means if that ball would be legally thrown downfield and touched downfield, then we would have OPI. All right. And then we continue. Now we have IDP hanging. This is number 66, I believe. He is 4 yards downfield. So this passer still has 2 yards to go to get to the neutral zone. So if he would decide to pass this ball real quick, maybe this guy would all of a sudden release and he would toss it to him or something like that. If that would happen, then we would have 2 separate fouls, and obviously we would go with the OPI. Remember, per philosophy, if he would get close to the line of scrimmage and decide to legally ground this ball, he's outside the free blocking zone, he would legally ground this ball out of bounds, we would not have either of those hanging fouls per philosophy. So a lot of things to keep in mind on those RPOs. Punt play here. Just a couple things, just reminders. We got our gunners on the outside being covered by our deep wings. Our umpire and our short wings are going to handle these second and third wave guys coming down. And just a reminder, a little wider here. If the feet of our back judge were right here, he would have a little better angle to see this potential muff, or if this player gets too close, and we would have KCI. This back judge did a great job on this play. I know we did not have a quick whistle, but we had a lot of really quick whistles on fair catches Friday and Saturday. Remember, back judge, it's not your responsibility to protect him with a quick whistle. In fact, it's not going to protect him. All right, he's going to get hit or he's not going to get hit. But what your quick whistle will do is, if he muffs it, we're going to have an inadvertent whistle. And if we have an inadvertent whistle, we have to re-kick. We have no other option. And if we would have a muff and you would have a quick whistle and that ball would really quickly be recovered by Team K, you are going to get more than an earful from that coach, and it would be deserved. So you would just have to kind of sit there and take it. So don't protect them. Wait until that ball is secured enough that if they lost the ball, you would be ruling a fumble. Late whistle is always better than a quick whistle, and especially early, better than an early whistle. Third down flow, fourth down go. We still will do those when, even though we're dealing with 7 guys, you still are the ones getting the line to gain, right? I mean, the deep wings aren't going to come up to that spot, so we still are going to get there. And this spot is just this is nailed by this this headline judge here, because we have 4th and 4, and at the snap, releases, gets that line to gain, and this guy gets dumped, and boom, we're right there to make the ruling that we've got a first down. So make sure we're doing that and nail those critical spots. Just a reminder, the referee should have the only whistle anytime the passer gets hit. So really, we shouldn't have our line judge or headline judge looking at the passer or that direction when the quarterback is back to pass. They should be on receivers. Umpire might see through it, but just a reminder that if you're looking downfield, even line judge, headline judge, if you're looking somewhere down in here and you see that quarterback hit and that ball comes out and lands short, just stay off your whistle. All right, we can put it together later if we have to, but we need to make sure that that's not one that we call. All right, and just a reminder here, remember the NFL did a very extensive study years back that showed that about 80% of the time when the hit comes from the backside, it's a fumble and not a pass. That being said, if you have doubt, it's an incomplete pass and not a fumble. We go back and take a look at this one. This guy had a little bit of a sideways slinger throwing motion anyway, but if we take a look here, this is one that that hand is not coming forward with the ball yet. So this is one we would want to rule as a fumble. But remember your when in doubts. All right, that's it. Just short of 20 minutes for that training video. Good luck again, you working the championship game. Thanks to all our officials in the state of Iowa for working during the regular season. And congratulations to everyone that worked playoffs. Continue to work hard, and hopefully you get one game deeper in the playoffs next year.